Hi friends, welcome. Today we are going to be working on shoulder external rotation and extension. With that being said, we'll get started in a lunging position or a kneeling 90-90. Right? As we're here, making sure that we're squeezing in order to create some stability for ourselves. Let's start with the elbows. We'll take the arms next to the sides. We'll bend the elbows as you squeeze and turn. So as you pronate here, straighten the arms. Again, as you go through the elbow CARs, right? Think about really getting some space through your forearms. Again, not just going through the movements here. A couple more going this way, and then we'll change direction. And again, make sure that you're going all the way in, so we're flexing the full way, and then we're extending the full way on the arms. Good. So now it's going to be keeping that pronation, bend the elbow, rotate, and then sanding it back down. Try to keep those arms as steady into your sides as possible, right? Not allowing them to shift forward or back. And last one, okay, we'll bring those arms down, take the left hand onto the lower ribs, take the right arm across the body. So as we get into these glenohumeral joint CARs or shoulder CARs, and with the bicep trying to spin forward as the arm comes directly across, adducts, reach the arm up, have the bicep to the outside of the ear, spin the bicep forward, and then continue that rotation until that arm goes all the way back as far as it can, and then the back of the hand is into your side pocket, keeping that elbow straight the whole time. Again, as you bring it back, continue to start to unwind the arm, reaching the arm up and then across the body. Again, as that arm comes up, spin the bicep forward, continue that exact same rotation until the back of the hand comes into your side pocket. And as you go back, unwind, and again, taking it across. Good. We'll go a couple more times, being mindful that, of course, we're not shifting our body from side to side, that we're not getting into the spine here, rotating one way or the other. And last one. So next time, again, that arm comes across, we get that adduction. Good. We'll bring the arms a little bit off to the side. Good. Without shifting forwards, if you can lift that left foot up, swing the left foot over to the right a little bit here. And then we're going to walk that right foot out just a bit. So we'll be more into this combat stance. Good. We'll get a little bit into the spine. So as you take the arms across, give yourself a little hug round the spine here. Great. We're going to start going to the left first. Start to squeeze everything on that left side. Bring the elbows towards that left knee. Take a side bend here, taking the shoulder into your side pocket, arching through the back, coming over to the right, rotating here into the middle, and again, changing, going back the other way. Again, start to squeeze everything on that left as we rotate. Good. Think breastbone lifting up. Get into that upper thoracic spine. Coming to the other side. And again, back into the middle. And again, just as we started when we were in that 90-90, that kneeling 90-90, try to squeeze through the legs to create that stability here. Strength within your position. And one more. And as we come back into the center, we're going to slowly lift everything up. We're going to continue that trajectory of that left foot. Start to slide that left foot in a little bit more and then drop the hip down behind. Good. Once we're here, we're going to keep that right leg as it is. Think left foot lifting up first. Squeeze everything tight here. We're going to lift the left foot off the floor and then straighten that leg. So we end up in this bear sit. If you do need to elevate the hips, you can always place a block underneath them. Right? If we can sit up tall without it, then of course option is to sit on the floor. Again, taking that left hand back onto the lower ribs, bring the right arm out to the side. We want to try to keep that line from the elbow to the shoulder. All right, and as we start to rotate internally here, make sure that we're not folding the shoulder over, that it's all that glenohumeral joint and not scapula joining the party. And keep that shoulder back, squeeze at the end, and we're going to go back into some external rotation. Again, same thing, internally rotate, watch that fold of the shoulder, and again, going back, externally rotate. Again, find that intention. The intention is to create some connection and create maybe a little bit of space each rotation that we do. Good, last one. We'll go for an internal rotation and an external rotation here. Okay, we'll relax the arm down. All right, you're gonna take the right arm, hook it underneath that right shin, pull the leg in a little bit, and then if you have that space, right, just depending on how that arm is, we're gonna slide the leg out. So now we're gonna get that external rotation on that right arm. And we should be feeling that right around this area here. Right, again, just sitting up tall. And of course, as we start to find that position, right, if things start to loosen up as we're here, we can always wiggle that right leg out a little bit. So as we take that external rotation, make sure that we're not shifting the body to either side, but that as we hook, everything stays the same, and it's just the movement in this arm. All right, so your PAILs from here, when we do get started, is going to be the right arm pushing into your right leg, right? So you're thinking about bring it back into the center, right? That rails contraction, you're trying to move that right arm away from the leg. So squeezing that stuff more towards the back of the shoulder. And just taking your time here, getting settled in, breathing. All right, just letting that stretch come naturally for you. So when we do start with our PAILs, we'll start slow, 20% effort, and then steadily ramp up to that safest maximal effort. And as always through the rails, we're going to try to, with control, lift as hard as we can, just making sure that it's not too hard that we start to get sloppy with it. So we'll take an inhale here, pack the air down nice and slow. Start to press that right arm into your leg, like you're trying to bring the arm back to the center. 30% effort, nice, steady, consistent ramp up to 40. 60%. Good, 80 to that safest maximal effort here, pressing it as hard as you can. Good, another 3, 2, 1. Try to rotate that arm away from the leg, probably not gonna move, just squeeze through the back of that right shoulder. 2, 1, and we're gonna relax. Again, if you have space, maybe wiggle that right foot out a little bit further. Of course, one thing that might hinder you here is any lack of range of motion in that right hip. Maybe you got it in the arm, but we just can't get that leg back too far. are going to go for a second set. And try to keep that right arm more into your side just as it is. Take that inhale. 20% effort, start to push the arm into the leg. And steadily, consistently ramping up to 30. 40%. 60, matching the effort throughout whatever's happening in that arm, happens through the whole body. And that safest maximal effort, we're going to push it as hard as you can. Keep going. 2, 1. You're going to try to rotate that arm away from the leg. Again, nothing else changes. Squeeze the back of that shoulder. And again, as you relax, just get it settled. Maybe shifting that leg a little bit further back. Good. We're going to keep the right arm where it is, but we are going to shuffle that right leg in a bit until we're more out of a stretch. All right. We're going to go through some passive range holds. So we can use that right leg as the measure. We are trying to move the forearm away from the right leg, working to lift it, and then slowly bringing it back. Just make sure that wrist doesn't break. Keep that as steady as possible here. And as we prepare, right, find a spot that's just a little bit out of a stretch. Take an inhale, pack the air down, try to rotate that right arm back, and then relax it. Good. Again, same thing. Work to rotate. And relax, bring it back. Again, inhale. Try to lift. And then bring it back. 2 more. And again, relaxing that arm. Last one here. And then again, bringing that back. Okay, we're gonna take that right arm from underneath. Slide the right heel in towards you. We're gonna take that left foot flat onto the floor. We are going to press ourselves up here, and we'll slide that foot all the way back. So again, we're gonna start into that kneeling 90-90. All right, we are gonna get into the right arm first. Again, just make sure that we're not twisting off to one side. We'll take the right arm back, close your hand, make a fist. Again, if you need to, those hands can go, that left hand can go onto the lower ribs. Make sure that we're not pulling ourselves backwards here. Get the arm up nice and high. Bend the elbow. All right, that external rotation, well, that elbow is that pivot point, is the lifting of the hand out and then up. All right, we're going to go the other way. It's the internal rotation behind the back, trying to lift the arm up towards the ceiling. Fight for that height in the elbow, and again, going back. Good, just continue to rotate. Think about a 2-3 second pause through each end. And again, that intention is to create some space. That last one on that internal rotation, trying to lift that forearm up and back. Again, we can relax that arm down. So this might need to give it a little bit of a shake. But we are going to go onto the other side. Again, that right hand is onto the lower ribs. Pack it in. All right. Remember, those legs are your stability here. Take the left arm across the body. Find your adduction. Reach the arm up. Bicep spins forward once it hits that wall. Continue to rotate until the back of the hand comes into your side pocket, extending it back, and unwind the arm slowly here. And again, taking the arm back across, again, reaching the arm up, spin the bicep forward, continue to extend the arm back, watching to make sure that our torso is not rotating. As you unwind the arm when it goes back, reach it up, bicep slides past the ear, and again, adduct. Good, 2 more. Good, and last one here. And when that arm comes across, you're going to take that right foot off of the mat. Try not to shift forward. If you need to shift forward first, and then lift. Right? Lift the right shin, pivot that shin over to the left. Maybe that left foot slides forward a bit. And again, we're going to get into this combat lunge in position here. And again, the arms come across. And we'll get back into that spine. So as you find your flexion, round the spine, pull that belly back. Concave everything on the front. We're going to rotate to the right first thing. Everything's squeezing or crunching in on that right side. Drop the shoulder into your side pocket. Lift the breastbone up. And then taking it the other way, squeezing that stuff on the left side to come back into the middle. And again, once we get back into the center, change direction. Go the other way. Again, be mindful of what's happening as you extend. Think upper back is where we're trying to get. And as you flex forward, work to get more into that global flexion. And we'll go for one more round. And then back the other way. Good. When we get back into the center, again, slowly coming up. That right foot is now going to pivot all the way in until we sit down just behind that heel. Left leg should be more where we want it here. You're going to lift the think right foot lifting up first. Brace, take that inhale, lift the right foot, and then take it into that bear sit here. Again, think ankles in line with the knees. Those knees are off at about a 35 degree angle. And as we get into the left shoulder, take the right hand onto the lower ribs. We'll bring that left arm out to the side. Again, elbow in line with the shoulder the whole way. Watch to make sure it's not lifting or moving forward or back. Now remember, when we get that internal rotation, where it stops is where that shoulder's back and not where it's folding forward. And then go the other way. Externally rotate the shoulder. And internally rotate. And then externally rotate. Again, finding that internal rotation. And externally rotate. Good, just another second there. Internally rotate. Good, make sure that shoulder is not folding forward. And again, going back to that external rotation. And lower the arm down. Again, slide the left leg in a little bit. Good, take your left arm, hook it underneath the leg. All right, keep that bend in the left elbow. Arm is more or less staying close in towards your body as you maybe start to wiggle that left foot out a little bit here. And again, just being mindful of what's happening in the shoulder. As always, when we get into things, rule number 1, no pinching, no pain. If that is present, then we just play with the edge and stay a little bit outside of it. And again, what we are looking for here is that stretch around there and maybe even coming in a little bit to the front, but it should be underneath that shoulder ridge. Again, just remember that when we're all holding it, if things loosen up, feel free to wiggle the leg out a little bit. And again, just to recap as we go through our PAILs and rails, right? The PAILs, that left arm is trying to swing in, left leg is blocking it, and the rails, you're trying to move that arm away from the leg. Again, you're probably not going to get any movement out of it, right? But all we want is that contraction on the stuff on the back. Giving ourselves another 10 seconds. So again, just preparing yourself here. All right, take an inhale. Pack the air down with 20% effort. Start to push the arm into the leg. And looking to get some strength in the stuff that we're stretching through our PAILs. 30%, think 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Again, that's still consistent and steady ramp up to 60, matching the effort through the whole body at this point. Safest maximal effort, pushing it as hard as you can. 3, 2, 1. Think about rotating the arm away from your shin. Move it away from the leg. Squeeze the stuff on the outside. Good, and then relax. Good, maybe wiggle the leg out a little bit more, finding perhaps some more external rotation in that shoulder. And again, as we go for that second set here, we'll prepare with that inhale, pack the air down nice and deep, 20% effort, start to push the arm into the leg, trying to sweep the arm back into the middle. 30%, again, like the speedometer going up in a car, nice and steady, ramp up to 40. 60. Matching the effort throughout. Again, that safest maximal effort here, pushing it as hard as you can. 3, 2, 1. Try to rotate the other way. Good. Remove the arm from the leg. Again, intentions count here, whether or not it's actually moving. 2, 1, you can relax it, maybe wiggle that leg out a little bit. And then holding here just another 15 seconds or so. And as you start to wiggle that left foot back into the center, again, we're going to come out of your stretch. And some of us might be a little bit further in than others. Some of us might not feel that movement of the arm, but again, we are trying to lift or rotate the arm out and away from your left leg. All right, so take your inhale here, pack the air down, work to lift, and then relax it. And again, same thing, work to rotate the arm away from the leg. Inhale, and then back. Good, same thing. Relax, and again, 2 more. And last one here, inhale, rotate. And bringing that back. Good, remove the arm. All right, that left heel slides in. Right foot comes in front. Again, you're going to use a little bit of a drive down of that left shin to press yourself back up. And again, back into that kneeling 90, 90. All right, right hand onto the lower ribs. Again, pack that down. Take the left arm back and straight at first. Good. Keep the elbow up nice and high. Bend the elbow. Try not to rotate to open up the shoulder to the side. Okay, that external rotation is going to be that left arm lifting up and then out. And internally rotate. Think about that forearm lifting behind the back and towards the ceiling. Again, rotating it back the other way. Again, internally rotate. Notice if that elbow starts to drop or not. Again, rotating it back out. And internally rotating. See if you can lift that forearm towards the ceiling. And one more round. And then going back the other way. And we'll relax the arm down. Take that right knee next to the left. We'll end up into this high kneeling position from here. All right, still focusing on those shoulders. Take the back of the, or take the hands to the back of the head, right? Maybe even bumping fists here. And we're gonna lift the hands off the head, push the elbows back. And again, as you do that, keep the ribs and the butt tight. Now start to straighten the arms out. Start to internally rotate, biceps starting to spin forward and then down. And then once they go back, bend the elbows and then let those hands rest on the lower back. Okay, from here we're just gonna, again, keep everything tight, squeeze, think elbows back first, then lift the hands. Pause there. Hands to the back and then elbows relax. Again, same thing, take that inhale, elbows back first, then those hands can go. Again, hands first, relax the elbows. Again, inhale, elbows back, hands lift. Pause. Hands first, elbow second. And one more. Inhale, lift. Straighten the arms. Right? And then from there, we're going to unwind those arms, reaching them up. Bend the elbows. Hands to the back of the head. And then again, relax those arms down. And we're just going to cross the shins here. And then take the legs forward. You're going to have a couple of options, and we're going to work on, well, mainly focus or bias towards retraction of the scapula first. First option is that when those thumbs are facing in towards the hips, right, it's a retract, protract. So you're working to close off the upper back like an elevator door here, and then opening. All right, try not to pop the ribs out to the front. Other option from there, you can always have the feet on the floor with the hips lifted. And then same thing, it's a protract and retract, right? Think upper back opening like an elevator door and then closing like an elevator door. And we're gonna continue. So whichever position you've chosen, whether you're on the floor, retracting, protracting, or you've decided to lift the hips, protract and retract, right? It makes it harder if you want. You can have the legs straight from here as well. And whichever option you choose, especially if your feet are on the floor and those hips are up, don't let the butt sag, squeeze, brace, and irradiate. And we're gonna go for a few more. Last one. Good. If your hips are up, slowly lower them down. Good. Some focus on that extension, right? Thumbs, again, are going to point in towards your hip. Bend the elbows, and I want you to create a line from the elbow down to the wrist. So just make sure that we're not back too far here. And then once we get that extension in the arms with the elbows bent, try not to protract your shoulder blades, right? Notice how the chest is concaved in here. I want you to think chest propped up. And as you start to prop the chest up a little bit, it's like a proud lion, right? We're gonna start to feel that stretch, that tension through the front of your shoulders. And it doesn't really have to be very far back for most of us to get that sensation here. Right, just gently think about elbows trying to squeeze towards one another. So again, tension, that stretch should be right through the front of the shoulder. And we're just going to hold it steady here. So the PAILs, when we go through it, is essentially we're working to build some strength in the front of the shoulders, right? Through that stretched area. Hands are going to push down and then try to pull in towards the mat like you're working to bring the arms forward. Right, in the rails, you're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together and then even try to push the arms or those elbows back a little bit, still working to prop the chest up even more. And then for some of us, afterwards, you might be able to shift the hips forward a bit to create a little bit more stretch in the shoulders, but not while we're doing the rails. So remember, the rails, you're just trying to push back, squeeze the elbows together, prop the chest up. Right? And just 30 more seconds. Take an inhale here. Pack the air down with 20% effort. Think about hands trying to pull in towards your hips. Steadily ramping up to 30, like you're trying to pull yourself to the back of the mat. 40% effort. 60, matching the effort throughout, squeezing those legs together as you're here. Building that strength in the front of the shoulders, safest maximal effort, trying to pull those hands to the hips as hard as you can. 3, 2, 1. Think about shoulders squeezing together. Push the hands back. Prop the chest up. 3, 2, 1. Good. As you hold it there, maybe we can even walk those hips forward a little bit here. Whew. And I'm definitely feeling this one. All right, we are going to go for a second round if you're game. Take an inhale, hands nice and slow, 20% effort. Try to pull in towards the hip. 30%. Don't let those shoulder blades open. 40%. Net zero movement through these PAILs. 60, squeezing everything tight. Safest maximal effort. 3, 2, 1. Try to push those hands back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, pop the chest up. Keep going. 2, 1. And if you can, you're gonna shift those hips forward. Oh, that second one was killer. Just know you're not alone. 5 more seconds. And then slowly coming out. Whew. All right. Take both arms back behind you. And I know things are tender here, at least mine are. And sit up nice and tall. If you need to, you can always bend the knees or sit on top of a block if you find that you're rounding back. Right? So those are a couple options. But if you can sit up tall here with the legs straight in front, reach the arms back. We're going to externally rotate first, biceps trying to spin out to the side and then up, and then rotate those biceps down towards the floor and then back. And a couple more, just like that. And last one. And we'll lower those arms down. Still not finished yet. All right. Just be mindful of how high you have those blocks. I want you to think of exactly what we were doing with the arms back behind us, but we can make this closing the hands off. And again, trying to sit up tall as we're here. Some of us might have the blocks down here, and some of us might not have blocks at all, right? Think about lifting the hands up. Again, just find one that works for you here. Think, again, just like we were in the last position, wrists underneath the elbows, but a 90-degree bend in the arms, right? So it is a lift without shifting and then lowering the hands down. And we've got ourselves a clean, crisp 50 seconds starting now. Inhale, lift, slowly lower. Inhale, lift, lower. Again, up, lower it down. Good, keep going. Remember it's 50 seconds, so if you need a break, take a break. Don't have to do the full 50 seconds. Think punching the elbows up, hands lifting. Hands directly under the elbows. Yeah, 5 more seconds. Good, as we lower it down. And relax those shoulders for a moment. Right, we are going to spin onto our bellies. Right? We got one more thing here for those shoulders. Right, when you spin onto your stomach, bring the legs back behind you. Right, we're going to close your hands and make fists for some of us that are here. Others with less range of motion, you might be onto your palms. All right, so those are your options. All right, we can take a block in between the legs if you want to create that irradiation, right? Squeezing into the block nice and tight. All right, so once we're lying on the stomachs, we're going to try to lift the hands and then slowly lower. Right, so just like we were doing in the other position. And we are going to aim for a little bit less time here. Right, about 40 seconds. Again, make your fists, bend the elbows, foreheads on the floor. I think punching the elbows up, hands lift, and then slowly lowering. Same thing, punch, slowly lower. Lift and lower. Good, nice strong back, lift, lower down. And those hands lifting directly underneath the elbows, punching up and then parachuting back down. Good, last one. Great. We're gonna add on to that one a little bit here. I want you to try to keep the elbows where they are when we lift the hands, right? So when those hands lift, straightening the elbows, keep the arms nice and high as we bend, hands land lightly back onto the floor. Right, remember, fists elevate a little bit so you're going more into your extension, right? Palms flat will give you a little bit more space to work with. You'll just have to contend with those fingers sliding back. All right, so as we get set, again, hands just underneath the elbows. Take that inhale, squeeze, punch the elbows up, straighten the arms, keep the elbows high, bend the elbows, land the hands directly under the elbows. Again, inhale, lift, straighten the arms, squeeze, fight for that height, bend the elbows, lower it down. Again, lift, straighten, bend the elbows, softly land. You got two more. Last one. Awesome. Head will take a seat here, and you can sit down on the heels depending on the ratio of lengths to arm and torso, or you can sit on a block or two, or a nice high kneeling position. And we are going to finish with a couple of scapular CARs and then your glenohumeral joint CARs. Arms can come into the sides, glue them in, elevate the shoulders, retract, depress, protract, and just continue in that exact same direction. Change direction, go the other way. Good. As we go for one more round here, when you relax the shoulders down, and again, that left hand can go onto the lower ribs, right arm across the body. So we end with those glenohumeral joint CARs, right? Adduct here. Send the bicep past the ear. When it stops in that flexion, spin the bicep forward. And you can continue rotating in that exact same direction until the back of the hands come next to the hip. And we unwind, reaching it up, and again, across. We'll go for a few more. And last one, right? As we go through these at the end, doesn't have to be anything intense. And just winding down a little bit. Again, that arm abducts across the body. Reach it up, spin the bicep forward, and then continue to wind up that arm until the back of the hand comes next to the left hip, and then changing and going the other way. And just noticing how the arm is feeling, especially after all of that work. perhaps a little bit tired, perhaps you have a little bit less going on, or maybe there's still some there. That last round after this one, I'm going to go for one more. And when those arms come across, okay. Thanks again for joining me for your shoulder practice. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, whatever time it is.